2018 Renault Clio Hatchback Review. The good points of Renault Clio Hatchback. Stylish and modern to think about. Plenty of kit and tech for cash. A comfortable ride and fine handling. A wide lifetime of model variations. The bad points of Renault Clio Hatchback. Renault Sport models aren't sharp enough. No 3-door version available. Numb steering robs it of fun factor. Start optioning it down, and things get expensive. More than the usual million degrees of the Renault Clio happen to be sold inside UK, considering that the first model debuted in the flurry of Nicole and Papa in 1991. It features a fine legacy that a French carmaker hopes its simplified 4th-generation model will capitalize on. Full precisely 2019 MK5 Renault Clio here. Find Renault Clio cars on the market here. Like virtually any contemporary car, this Clio is more spacious, delivers greater efficiency and is also safer than its predecessors. Unlike its forebears that comes in the single-body style, a 5-door hatchback, albeit one with hidden rear door handles for any svelte appearance. Sales of 3-door superminis happen to be declining for any while, and although continental Europeans can find the estate-bodied sport tourer, this may not be a format Renault promises to offer inside the UK. Renault pitches the Clio against tough opposition inside a competitive class that also includes the Citroën C3, Ford Fiesta, Hyundai i20, Mazda 2, Peugeot 208, Seat Visa, Skoda Fabia, Vauxhall Corsa and Volkswagen Polo, a few. Grown-up Clio offers personalization. Not only could be the stylish 4th-generation Renault Clio offered solely in 5-door form, it sits slower and it is wider. This lowers its center of gravity and possesses a positive benefit about the handling because of this. It feels larger and mature than its predecessors. Additional towards the range of colors available, buyers can personalize their car, which has a selection of options including door mirror caps, grille bars, rear panel skirts, lower door protectors and wheel finishes, in addition to a choice of roof graphics. To make a more bespoke interior, there's a menu of options about the dashboard, door panels, controls, grab handles, gear lever surround, air vent bezels, upholstery materials and optional floor mats. Onboard connectivity tech. Of greater benefit is many Clios will feature Renault's Relink Multimedia System, while using availability of utilizing it as an online portal. This comes with a 7.0-inch touchscreen incorporating SatNav with traffic updates. The system also links to Renault Relink Store, the car world's first app shop, where users can look at or download an array of services from other car or computer. Relink users could also check their messages, manage their diary, locate the nearest service station or destination for a park, or send a tweet. Clios on the lower end on the range can be purchased with R&Go, utilizing an app about the driver's smartphone to connect on the car's system. Efficient engine range. Barring the smallest amount of powerful petrol engine, all from the Clio's power plants are turbocharged for both performance and efficiency. Of the petrol-powered lineup, the T90 Eco could be the most cost-effective to own, that has a claimed average of 67.3 miles per gallon and CO2 emissions of 94 gkm. Those fuel-miserly mods dent performance, though. The 062 miles per hour time is 13.1 seconds. The diesel-powered T90 Eco not simply performs better. 062 miles per hour takes 12.0 seconds, it sips fuel with an even slower rate, that has a claimed 88.3 miles per gallon and CO2 emissions quoted at 82 gkm. Renault doesn't present an electrically powered Clio despite its expertise in EVs. Instead you need to opt to the electric-only Zoe for zero-emission driving. High-performance Clio Renault Sport. Renault includes a long and illustrious history in producing compact hot hatchbacks, and even though the fastest Clios have between 200 horsepower and 220 horsepower on tap based upon which version you choose to buy, they're hamstrung for enthusiasts by an obstructive EDC dual-clutch automatic gearbox. There's no manual alternative. Still, they're quick. The Clio Renault Sport 220 Trophy can reach 146 miles per hour and gets from 0-62 miles per hour in 6.6 seconds. The handling will put a smile in your face, too, but as being a package it falls short from the Ford Fiesta Street and Peugeot 208T. The verdict: we just like the Renault Clio. It's inexpensive, incorporates a generous equipment tally, and appearance is smart, despite having been around to get a few years now. It rides well and is also roomy, too. It doesn't possess particular weaknesses, either, although whenever we were being hyper-picky, then we'd counter that it's quite a bit less sharp to influence as the Ford Fiesta. But, then, what's? It's an excellent, solid, 4-star car, whilst still being near the top of its class, despite its advancing years. Renault Clio Hatchback Review. Economy-focused petrols and diesels. Mid-range 90 is really a decent all-rounder. Renault Sport models hampered by Gearbox. There are two distinct themes when it comes to your engines with the Renault Clio. Either you decide one that majors on efficiency or performance, there's not much middle ground. Brace of cost-effective petrol engines. All except the entry-level 1.2 16-volt 75 petrol engine are turbocharged, and yes, it's on your own referred to by its capacity in liters. Except it's not. While Renault calls it single.2, it's actually a 60-minute.1. As the name suggests, it develops 75 horsepower, that is enough for any top speed of 103 miles per hour. Torque isn't especially high at 107 Nm, and compounding the issue is always that you have to work the motor hard. It doesn't peak until 4,250 revolutions per minute, resulting within a pedestrian 0.62 miles per hour duration of 14.5 seconds. A 5-speed manual transmission may be the only gearbox here. It's not much of a very flexible engine and feels overwhelmed from the Clio's size, so if you do not really must have the smallest amount of expensive choice, avoid it. First from the turbo engines could be the Energix 90 in standard and eco guises, although both versions in the 3-cylinder 0.9-liter unit have stop-start technology to avoid wasting fuel. That 90 horsepower output yields a 112 miles per hour top speed, as you move the 135 Nm of torque from 2,500 revolutions per minute makes all the standard model reasonably flexible, requiring fewer gear changes for the 5-speed manual when overtaking. 0.62 miles per hour takes 12.2 seconds. Although the eco version is slightly torqueier at 140 Nm, the fuel saving measures hamper acceleration, with all the 0.62 miles per hour time being 0.9 seconds slower. There's more gusto using the Energix 120. This is really a 4-cylinder unit, however small at 1.2 liters and actual 1.2 on this occasion, too. Whether you stick together with the standard 6-speed manual or optional EDC dual-clutch automatic while using same quantity of ratios, the 120 horsepower output means a 124 miles per hour top speed. A useful hike in peak torque to 205 Nm at 2000 revolutions per minute makes this unit more flexible and is practical if you drive with greater frequency out of cities but don't cover the high miles to necessitate a diesel. The manual completes the 062 mph sprint in 9.0 seconds, the EDC in 9.2. Fuel miserly diesel options. Whichever diesel Clio you decide on, it provides a 4-cylinder, 1.5-liter engine that has turbocharger and initiate stop technology. First up could be the Energy DC90, accessible in standard and eco formats. A 5-speed manual will be the default transmission, which has a 6-speed EDC auto available around the non-eco model. Power, unsurprisingly, is 90 horsepower, enough for any 112 mph top speed within the manual versions, 109 mph for your EDC. All versions develop a welcome 220 Nm slew of torque at a low 1750 revolutions per minute, however the gearing means it's skewed towards efficiency as an alternative to out-on-out acceleration. Again, the manual models share a 12.0-second 062 mph time, the EDC taking longer at 12.9 seconds. Only a 6-speed manual is available for your Energy DC110, which in a 20 horsepower increase also enjoys a 40 Nm increase in torque to 260 Nm over its lower-powered stablemate. The top speeds elevated to 121 mph with all the 062 mph sprint taking 11.1 seconds. You really spot the extra punch being offered compared while using 90 horsepower version, by having an eager yet smooth power delivery. It's quite refined also, as well as the 6th gear ensures it remains relaxed at motorway speeds. You will likely need to make decent use with the gearbox though. The car's eco-focus means it wants to sit in higher gears to relieve fuel consumption, but when you demand a sudden burst of power, you will have to change down a gear or two. Clio Renault Sport Performance Flagship. Whether you choose the Renault Sport 200 or even the harder-core Renault Sport 220 Trophy, power is generated at a turbocharged 1.6-liter petrol engine. Enthusiasts' gripe isn't using the lusty engines, but while using 6-speed EDC dual-clutch automatic gearbox, there's no manual alternative, despite Renault teasing one out of concept form. At least the Trophy's transmission is much more responsive with quicker changes. With maximum pulling power of 240 Nm for your 200, or more to 280 Nm in 4th and 5th gears for that 220 Trophy, from 2000 revolutions per minute, it's an adaptable and refined unit. Don't allow the pops and burbles on downshifts fool you, it's less visceral because its predecessor. Flat out of the 200 will reach 143 mph. Whilst the 220 Trophy is slightly faster at 146 mph. Acceleration is usually rapid, the 062 mph sprint takes 6.7 seconds inside 200, 6.6 seconds for that Trophy. There are 3 driving modes to learn with: Normal, Sport and Race. Normal may be the default setting, plus this mode the Clio Renault Sports are simple to drive. Switch for the Sport mode and in addition they become steer. The acceleration is optimized, just like the gear shifts, while any wheel spin is controlled through the traction control. Race mode is advisable used on track days. After you toggle the Renault Sport button to obtain this mode, the traction control is disconnected while gear shifts are entirely manual operated, with all the paddle shifters behind the controls. Enjoyable coping with a Clio hallmark. Pity the steering's so uninvolving. Renault Sport Trophy feels much improved. This 4th generation Renault Clio is longer, wider and lighter for the tune of 100 kilograms weight against its predecessor, having a positive effect on handling, likewise as reducing fuel consumption. Body roll is well controlled, making the Clio a pleasurable tool for exploiting winding roads. Traction when starting to be bends is impressive, so much in fact it challenges the hallowed Ford Fiesta for driver enjoyment. Although direct, the steering could do with developing a bit more weight and fewer of an artificial feeling to sate keener drivers. However, this variable weighting setup should turn out to be a winner when driving in crowded city centers and can make parking easier. Clio Renault Sport can be a sharper proposition. Changes have already been made to your Renault Sport Clios to offer more fun than their lesser siblings, even so the lack of feedback over the steering remains. That's a terrific shame, as you never obtain the same volume of confidence in the car when comparing while using Hot Clio's predecessor. It's an instantaneous enough setup, but it's frustratingly light. Go with the lower, stiffer trophy version, and although it doesn't feel as raw as the third-generation Clio equivalent, it truly is better and for enthusiastic drivers. Further modifications on the steering rack view it respond quicker and, together with Michelin Pilot Super Sport tires fitted as standard, it's a considerably more engaging proposition. Albeit one lacking the involvement of any conventional manual gearbox. Higher quality as opposed to previous generation Clio. Personalization options could add some vibrancy. Well assembled, nevertheless the cabin doesn't feel special. Although the fourth-generation Renault Clio's cabin is a bit more upmarket than its predecessors, nonetheless lags behind some with the higher quality and even more interesting interiors, such because Citroën C3 and Vauxhall Corsa. It's tougher, has neat touches, especially the versions while using 7.0-inch touchscreen, and it also feels well assembled. We're less enthused about precisely how lower-spec models don't feature exactly the same soft-touch plastics as derivatives further the range, or that some in the controls within the center console are orientated so as to be more logical on left-hand drive cars, such since the starter button that is closer towards the passenger versus the driver. Still, you are able to personalize the inside with red or gray appliques. Something worth considering because the rest from the cabin is quite dark gray in color. One in the most spacious supermini interiors. Quiet cabin even though the ride is usually firm. Renault Sport versions are surprisingly comfy. Renault Clio comfort levels are extremely good, and not relative to other superminis. The ride quality may be a little for the firm side, and models with larger alloy wheels can cause quite a racket at higher speeds. Up front the seats are fairly well bolstered, however the side supports might be enhanced to boost comfort, particularly on lower specification Clios. Move further inside the range, though, and you're simply treated to great seats indeed, with lots of support and good comfort levels. There is usually a decent level of head and legroom, therefore you could easily squeeze two adults from the rear for relatively short journeys. However, those over 6 foot may experience a bit cramped when hemmed looking for too long. For the sportier models, this can be arguably essentially the most comfortable Renault Sport offering until now. It doesn't feel as hardcore as the predecessors, even off its inevitably firm riding than less quick Clios. The seats there are ample side support for enthusiastic cornering, too. 7 trim levels through the Clio range. DAB radio and Bluetooth standard on all models. Various personalization available options. There's a model for the majority of tastes from the Clio lineup, on the attractively priced entry-level model towards the performance flagship, with increasing degrees of luxury among standard Renault Clio hatchback equipment. Entry point for Clio ownership may be the familiar expression trim level, but it's far away from being basic with regard to its kit count. Its wheels are 15 inches and steel in lieu of alloy, but they're garnished with attractive wheel trims and so are complemented by grained black plastic bodywork protection appliques. Up front are LED day running lights set in the lower elements with the bumper. Inside you'll find DAB radio, Bluetooth connectivity along with the R&Go app on your smartphone to allow for further connectivity with the Clio. Additionally there's cruise control, hill start assist, remote central locking which has a dash-mounted starter button and electric control with the front windows and door mirrors. Next up is Play, which adds 16-inch chrome-finished alloy wheels, front fog lights, variable speed wipers and, arguably most significantly, aircon. The most popular from the Clio's trims is Dynamic Nav, which significantly ramps in the levels of equipment. Outside, there's gloss black and chrome detailing in place with the grained plastic finishes, at the same time as automatic lights and wipers. Climb aboard, taking advantage on the keyless entry, to spot the 7.0-inch multimedia screen that features satin, soft-touch dashboard materials and full leather wrapping for the controls. Dynamic Nav would be the next rung inside the Clio ladder, but that extra letter adds a significant number of equipment. The exterior is hallmarked by 17-inch alloys that has a black finish, more chrome detailing and full LED head and tail lights. The door mirrors also fold electrically. Inside there's climate control for the aircon, a front center armrest, electric rear windows and an actual leather wrap for the tire. Topping the Clio hierarchy at a luxury perspective is Signature Nav featuring an alternative Relink multimedia system including 12 months TomTom Live updates and App Store, body side sensors that has a reversing camera and self-parking function and also a leather interior with heated front seats. First with the sporty offerings would be the Renault Sport 200 using a standard equipment level that places it inside the upper echelons from the Clio range. The 7.0-inch multimedia system with satin will there be, as well as cruise control, keyless entry and begin, hill start assist, launch control for rapid getaways, full LED lights front and back, rear privacy glass and also a body kit. Chrome look 17-inch alloy wheels complete the image. Interior features include aircon, automatic lights and wipers, all-round electric windows and also a Renault Sport-specific leather tire. Progress onto your Renault Sport 220 trophy as well as the changes are few but significant. As well, since the stiffer suspension and quicker gear changes, the wheels are stretched to 18 inches and they are now black with red calipers visible through them and there's a reversing camera to generate parking that bit easier. Climate control ousts the typical aircon even though the multimedia package would be the upgraded Relink version. Optional Renault Clio hatchback extras. Personalization is often a theme Renault's keen to offer using the Clio, so in addition to a choice of optional paint colors, you also can specify white or red wine exterior appliques exterior touch pack, red, white, gray or black roof decals and red or gray interior trims interior touch pack. If you fancy something racier with no expense of any full-blooded Renault Sport engine, next the sporty GT line look pack might pique your interest, which consists of purposeful appearance and silver exterior embellishments. You can, naturally, specify many items individually from your list of extra cost options, but whenever you can we'd recommend taking into consideration the bundles for greater good value. Climate pack, climate control and electrically folding door mirrors. Horizon pack, fixed glass panoramic roof and rear privacy glass. Techno Pack, the upgraded Relink multimedia system including 12 months of online services including TomTom Live navigation. Techno Pack Bose, much like the Techno Pack, together with the addition of parking sensors all around, a reversing camera as well as a Bose speaker system. Techno Pack Bose Premium, as above with all the addition of the automatic self-parking system. Techno Pack Premium, as Techno Pack together with the addition of all-round parking sensors, a reversing camera and self-parking function. One from the safest small hatchbacks on discount sales. LED lights, an element from 2016. Lacks some newer safety measures. The French marque has been in the forefront of mainstream car safety, considering that the introduction from the Euro NCAP crash testing scheme and also the fourth-generation Renault Clio continues this legacy that has a full 5-star rating. Clios are well equipped in relation to safety-focused gear, wonderful versions featuring hill start assist, traction control and emergency brake help exert additional stopping power when scrubbing off speed quickly. Although there isn't an autonomous emergency foot brake, the Clio will alert the motorist when cars ahead are braking heavily, while inside event of the accident the blow is going to be cushioned by 6 airbags and anti-whiplash head restraints. You won't find blind spot monitoring or lane keeping assist either, but all-round parking sensors along with the reversing camera are offered across the range. Since the 2016 facelift, all Clios feature LED day or running lights, while high-end models include full LED head and tail lamps, rogues of which remain on even though the car is running. As for the larger Renault Megane, how many ICE-fixed child car seats can I fit inside a Renault Clio hatchback? You will surely have just 2, fitted towards the outer rear chairs, because there's no front seat mounting point option. One in the largest interiors from the segment. 60 hours 40 minutes split rear seats over the range. Useful stowage facilities from the cabin. Being one on the larger superminis on discount sales, practicality regarding space is usually a Renault Clio strong point. 4 adults can easily fit in comfortably, although 5 would have been a game of mobile sardines. While at 300 liters the boot is one in the largest from the segment. All Clios have a very 60 hours 40 minutes split rear seat, a vent-off, doesn't fold completely flat, that liberates around 1,146 liters when lowered. There are a amount of useful storage cubbies dotted about the Clio's cabin, even though it doesn't set any class standards for either the variety of them or volume of space within them. But it is possible to conceal much of your in-car knickknacks at the same time as slotting a 500 ml bottle in each from the front doors.